How many people here ever woke up one morning and just decided it wasn't one of those days and you're gonna break some shit?
Welcome, music enthusiasts, to a journey through the ages. Join me as we dive into the heart of the most iconic and nostalgic tours that have shaped the world of music. From the electrifying energy of metal concerts to timeless melodies of rock legends, and the unforgettable moments in pop history. This channel is your passport to the greatest tours and festivals of all time. This is I Am Hell, and together we'll explore the stages that have witnessed the evolution of music, the stories behind the performances, and the goosebump-inducing moments that defined eras. Today, we'll be looking at one of metalcore's finest moments, the early days when a lot of these sounds were still being pioneered, the All-Stars Tour. The bands. Co-headlining the main stage, we've got Emmure. Alongside them, Alesana. Iwrestledabearonce. Blessthefall. For today, in this moment, Born of Osiris. The Ghost Inside. After the Burial, Motionless in White. Grin. Sleeping with Sirens. Attila. For all those sleeping, Memphis May Fire. Plus many more. Okay, it's May 2011. The dates just got announced. My city's on the map. Rise Records still sells physical tickets, so me and my friends hop in the Aztec and go get ourselves some tickets. This tour is unlike anything, edging close to the magnitude of Warped Tour. In 2011, bands like Attila, Grin, they're still trying to make a name for themselves. Motionless in White's Creatures album is less than a year old, and this holy grail, The Discovery, was released in March. The hype, unbelievable. The tour kicks off July 21st at the House of Blues in Houston, Texas, and ends at the Showbox Soto in Seattle August 28th. 2-month stretch, taking place over the finest summer days. A few more Canadian dates would later be added. The All-Stars Tour consisted of 2 stages, a heavy one and a more emo one. The marketing approach was likely to capture the audience of both the Summer Slaughter Tour that had insane acts like the Black Dahlia Murder, Whitechapel, Dying Fetus, and Warped Tour, like bands like Mayday Parade, A Day to Remember, Paramore, combined into one crazy tour. And it would prove to be a smart tactic. It sold out many dates, and the tour even returned the next year. This tour truly provided a platform for bands like Attila to show what they had to offer. Chris Franzak has even stated in a couple interviews and tweets that this tour was monumental to the growth for Attila.
Here right now, if it wasn't for Mitch. That first tour we did together, the All-Stars, I was the baby band on the tour, the opener.
Combined with the success of Outlaw, the wheels for Attila were set in motion, and the All-Stars Tour would be a perfect pair. Except for the Canadian dates, because due to some unfortunate events, Chris could not get across the border, so we missed out in Canada. For Grin, they had just dropped their second studio album, the follow-up to Desolation of Eden, My Damnation. And this tour only further projected that hype. Bangers like Cursed, All Hail the Fallen King featuring Phil Bozeman. The pits were devastating. At this time, Motionless in White was still gaining traction on their newest album, Creatures, which released just the year before this. That album featured bangers like Immaculate Misconception, Abigail, Puppets. They were also beefing with Black Veil Brides while perfecting their craft.
It's a short story.
There were some things that they said, or not they, but Andy had said about us on stage, just because
for whatever reason, you know, we kind of like, we're like, wow, that's...
Their sets were always so full of energy. The crowd sang along to all their songs. Now, to me, the most important thing of this show was Born of Osiris. They still had Jason Richardson on the roster. This was peak Boo era. The Discovery was brand new. Everyone was existing on an entirely different dimension. The synth leads, just something to experience. With trans-dimensional songs like Singularity, Follow the Signs, and Ascension, you know these sets were on another level. For anyone around in 2011, for today, they're a band known for their earth-shattering breakdowns. Bass excursions that would make any teenager horny. That teenager was me. Breaker was their more recent album at the time, which featured songs like Devastator, and if you never got to see Devastator live, oh, I feel bad for you. The album also included bangers like Seraphim, White Flag. If you get past the vocalist preaching, their sets were pretty good. Okay, fun fact. Counterparts at this time was still a baby band. They hadn't even released The Current Will Carry Us. We were still riding the wave of Prophets, and oh my god, those pits were insane back then. We were all still hardcore dancing to OG songs like Your John Fucking Locke, Only Anchors, Goodbye Megaton. Go on and on about those days. I also managed to get a hold of an old friend named James, who is an opening act, ex-drummer from Through These Words, and I asked him to share his experience. I was asked to share my experience, having the opportunity and privilege to be able to play at the Toronto date of the All-Stars Tour back in 2011. Overall, it was an absolutely amazing experience, and we were thrilled to be able to play with the bands on this tour, some of which helped build our passion to start a band in the first place. Even on a personal level, it was quite a big achievement. I forget really how it all started, but we had some local promoters come to us about the opportunity as they were developing more connections with the Toronto scene at the time. They suggested we set up a bus to bring people from our local area to the venue for the show, which is what we did. It was quite incredible being able to bring part of our local music scene to an area which was uncharted waters for us at the time, but nonetheless a step towards making ourselves known in a bigger and more established music scene. It was surreal loading into a venue to see members of the bands you take inspiration from hanging around, chatting and joking with each other. The camaraderie in the air was distinct. There was a wide range of emotions leading up until we played, from anxiety to excitement, wanting to leave a lasting impression and win over new fans to keep building our name. Our moment to perform came, and before we knew it, it was all done. It's crazy because there's always this build up to when you play, and then you start and it feels like a whole 5-minute set before you're taking down your gear and the next band is setting up. But overall, our set went without any issues, and from what I can remember, and there was a feeling of success among the members in the band. From a personal standpoint, I can easily say it was one of the most memorable days of my entire life, and having these fans come from home to support you in an unknown territory made it all that more meaningful, and I'm eternally thankful that we are given this opportunity. James Alexiak, ex-drummer Through These Words. Co-headlining 2011 was Emmure. New Metal Kings then, and still New Metal Kings now. Children of Cybertron released February of that year, and this tour really put it on the pedestal it deserved. Demons with Ryu exploded right out the gate. Solar Flare Homicide had that classic bounce. Man, what an album front to back. My personal favorite, Bohemian Grove. Alongside them, emo legends Alesana, who had just released probably their most well-rounded album at the time, The Emptiness. Featured songs like The Thespian, The Artist, The Murderer, and my personal favorite, A Lunatic's Lament. But we aren't even done! From July 22nd to July 24th, the tour converged with another ongoing tour in Texas, Scream the Prayer, which included The Chariots, Sleeping Giant, and Norma Jean. This would have been insane. To see all those bands playing at the same time on one tour, today, you're looking at like a $200 ticket. Back then, what did I pay for this? $34.25. People say, bring back Warped Tour. No. Bring back shows like this. Nothing terrible transpired during this tour. Nothing hit the news or anything. It was just a good old-fashioned metalcore, deathcore tour that had the ingredients to be successful, and it would prove to be as it returned for like 5 more years. I think it ended in 2015. And if you guys want more info on the rest of the tour, just let me know in the comments below. We'll hit that up too. I hopped into some groups, asked some people their testimonials who went to this tour, and this is what they got to say. It was one of my first shows. Got to meet a few members from Iwabo and Chelsea Grin's original drummer, Andrew. Wow, what a lineup to this day. Correct. This tour brought a lot of memories. Me and a couple of friends drove 4 hours to this show and only got a few hours of sleep because we drove all night back home. Totally worth it. I attended the 2013 version. Iwabo will always be my favorite. Ooh, I don't think they had Courtney until 2015 though. Still amazing. I was at this, one of my first shows, and I watched my best friend get drop kicked during the Iwabo Wall of Death. Oh, also, this was my first time seeing Chelsea Grin, and it was also my birthday, and Alex was at the bar and actually got to have a beer with him. Man, I got so many stories from the show. What? See? Crazy. Like, those bands were small back then. Sitting there having a beer with Alex? I went to the Detroit show. All the bands were great. Dallas show going into my senior year of high school. I'm pretty sure there were 2 tours to converge on that date because the Chariot was there. Damn right it was. If this were to happen again, it would be expensive as hell. Also, I wonder how much the billing will change. Different headliners for sure. Yeah, a lot different prices nowadays. Saw Alesana and Sleeping with Sirens later that year on the Motel 6 Rock Yourself to Sleep tour. Tiniest bar room ever. You know that picture from The Office where it's like, that's the stage? Exactly that. Yeah, totally. So they had 2 stages set up at the Sound Academy in Toronto, and I didn't even know they could do that. The littlest itty bitty stage as their second stage. It was hilarious, but it was actually awesome because it was super interactive. I loved it. I remember seeing this lineup, and I am once again bummed I didn't attend. Man, I could not imagine missing this. This was such a wicked tour. And the best Twitter response from Alex himself. Dan sharded his pants seconds before going on stage in Minnesota and played the whole set with shit in his pants. Champion. Overall, absolutely insane tour. I would love to see another tour like this. Let me know in the comments below what bands you think would be on this tour nowadays. Headlining it, I would say, I bet you it would be Bad Omens, Alpha Wolf, maybe. That, oh yeah, that's a good one, eh? Bad Omens and Alpha Wolf, the 2 stages. That's my pick. If you guys enjoyed your stay, please don't forget to like and subscribe. This is my first time doing these, and I have a lot of these series coming this way. So if you guys want to be part of that, subscribe, like, ring that bell, because we got lots to cover. Thank you guys so much for stopping by, and as always, peace and love, everybody.